Hey guys, it is Kelly Griffith here with Conquer Your Message. I hope everybody is having a great Tuesday today. And let's see here, we're going to dive right in. It is 12:02 on Tuesday, and we are going to jump into day 2 of our live training. So today we're going to dive deeper into the other who. Yesterday we did the who that was us, defining ourselves, and today we're going to get into our ideal client. All right. So yesterday I want to go over a couple things. We defined you, okay? And in order for your message to be clear, you've got to be, and I've made my notes here because I wanted to stay on point. So in order for your message to be clear, you not only need to know who you are and what you bring to your brand, okay, but you also need to know who it is you want to work with. And we're talking really know him or know her, okay? So recapping from yesterday, we went through the 3 steps that reveal your brand quality, okay? Number 1, you have to be laser focused on who you are. You have to reflect on who you are naturally and then who you are as a coach, okay? And then I think the most important thing is you have to understand why you're coaching. What happened in your life that really stirred that passion and that fire inside that has brought you to the point that you are, okay? It's that why. And if you're still struggling with this, go back to your story. Why are you coaching? What have your greatest struggles been, and how did you get through them? And go through those exercises yesterday. I'm telling you, when you write those 3, 4, or 5 stories out and look at those commonalities, it should be leaping off the page. It should just resonate with you, where your heart and your head line up, and you could go in front of 1,000 people or more than that and just speak just with such conviction and such confidence. That's what you're looking for, okay? So building on yesterday's work, what you need to do is you need to go through the exercises and the worksheets from today and work through painting that picture of your ideal client, I think the first time I ever went through the exercise, it was easy for me to pick out male, female, what did I want to help them with, what did they struggle with. What finally clicked for me was being able to say to myself, what's the last thing they think of before they go to bed? What thoughts do they wrestle with in the middle of the night? What is the first thing that's on their minds when they wake up in the morning? Because that is when you're really going to tap into that real struggle that's going to make them move and take action of working with you, right? And the kickback on that is, as you're going through stuff, and we'll get into more of this tomorrow, is once you can really clearly paint that picture of your ideal client and what they're wrestling with and how are they going to feel if this problem doesn't get resolved, you want to go to those emotions. You're going to, when we're writing copy and we're writing headlines and we're coming up with the journey of which we're taking our clients on, right? You're going to hit the pain points to kind of get them to perk up and say, hey, wait a minute, this might pertain to me. But then you're going to evoke and poke the emotions that are connected to that. And the emotions that are connected to what happens if it's not resolved. Because when you get them to that point, that's when they are most broken, and that's where you're going to make the most transformation for them. Okay? Couple other side fill in the blanks that might help you when you're going through this, and I hope you've got pencil in hand and you're making notes. Fill in the blank. All they need is blank to achieve blank. And when you work on that fill in the blank, I want you to go to the pain points of if the problem isn't resolved. Go deep, go there, okay? What happens is when you look at the commonalities that you had in your stories yesterday, and you've gone through the exercise and you've looked at the commonalities, the common words and themes that are coming up for your client, what you want to do is you want to look to see which ones reflect one another. So let's say you had 20 descriptors down and your client's got, I don't know, 15 or 20. Look for the ones that are the same, okay? And kind of put the other ones to the side, but really focus on those because that's another insight that will really help you connect, okay? It also enables you to weave consistency into your message. You know, that's really key as well, and we'll talk more about it tomorrow, but it's being able to word things in such a way that your consistent message, you keep bringing them back to that point, back to that point, back to that same point that you want them to, and it's that consistency. And when they're seeing more and more of your content in your marketing materials and that same message is coming through, but it's said a little bit different, it's going to resonate with them. It's going to have an impact. And one of the stories that I like to share, I heard this from one of my mentors, was a story about the apple vendor at the farmer's market. Okay, let's say that I'm into health and wellness, and I'd really like to lose some weight. The problem is I like apples. We're going to talk about apples. This is my apple story. I like apples, but the problem is after about 30 minutes, I'm hungry again. I'm not satisfied, right? So imagine that I'm at a farmer's market, and if you've ever been to a farmer's market, you are going to have multiple apple vendors. It's just all there is to it. You're going to have multiple vendors that sell fruits and vegetables, right? Well, if I'm walking down the street, enjoying the sun, enjoying being with my friends, and just taking the fresh air in, you know that those vendors are calling out to me. They're going to call out and say, hey, I've got some fresh apples, I've got some oranges, I've got some strawberries. And pretty soon after you've been there for about 30 minutes and you keep hearing those cat calls, they start to, you don't hear them anymore. Okay? However, there's one vendor there who sells red delicious apples, which happen to be my favorite. And if that apple vendor, instead of calling out, says, get your apples, instead of saying that, says, I've got your red delicious apples. I've got the apples that are going to help fill you up in between meals so that you get fully satisfied, so that you're not hungry again. All of a sudden, because he's speaking to what I'm wrestling with, all of a sudden his voice comes out of the side, and I hear him. And I stop and I go over, and now I'm looking at his red delicious apples. He has captured my attention because he's hitting a pain point that I have. But he's not just talking at a 6,000 foot level. What he's doing is he is talking to me about very specific things. And this is a good point to bring up. If you're marketing, if you're speaking to trying to hit everybody and have a broad stroke in what you're speaking to or what you're writing about, you're going to be like every other vendor out there. You're going to get lost in the noise. But instead, if you speak and write to a smaller audience, what happens is you're going to be heard much more clear. And that's what we're after. Okay, that is what we're after. So, like I said, go through the descriptives, look at what you share with your client because that will really help you. Another fill in the blank that I use sometimes when I'm trying to really hone some things down or if I'm just working in draft and I'm making a bunch of notes and I'm in that creative mode. I help blank with blank by coaching them with blank so they can, what's the benefit? Okay, I'll read it a little bit quicker here. I help blank, so let's say I help women with transformation by coaching them with my signature class so they can live the life that they want to be. Okay. The other thing that I'm going to leave you guys with today is I would suggest doing this evaluation on your client once a quarter, because what happens is as you evolve and you work with more and more clients, you're going to be, your information is going to increase. And the answers that you have today may or may not be the same in 3 months. They may or may not be the same in 6 months. Okay? But tomorrow we're really going to be building on this. We're going to be getting into capturing content, really bringing that Apple vendor message together. So if you haven't taken time to go through the exercises, please, please, please take some time to reflect on them, to go through them in a quiet space. All right. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below and I'll get with you as soon as I can. And with that, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.